When I first started sending cold emails, my results were terrible, barely any replies, and honestly, I actually thought my email was dead. But then I made one game-changing tweak, and it completely transformed my results, and I went from struggling to actually beating Alex Hormozi's reply rate by 400%. Now that's a crazy claim to make, right? I'm gonna show you everything in this video, and if you don't know who I am, I'm Matt Forsyth, and I have spent countless hours testing lead generation strategies. Most of them, they were just okay, but it was until I really discovered the power of the non-intrusive approach through email marketing, and by the end of this video, you're gonna learn how to write emails that actually get responses, how to optimize every single stage of your campaign, how to avoid the common mistakes that even the professionals make, and just stick around. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss the last slide. This is going to be a game changer. And here's what we're covering today. Why most advice on cold emails fail, the simple non-intrusive framework I use, actionable tests to set up, test, and optimize your campaign, and finally, the stats that prove that this works, and you can replicate them. Let's start with the problem. Most professionals are teaching intrusive methods. Now, you've probably seen this. It's like sending an email that says, "Hey, I see you are in industry. Would you like to learn how to insert dream goal?" Now, this might work to an extent, but it's like going up to someone you've just met and asking them to come home with you. That's a weird thing to do. And it's the intrusive emails that don't work. Well, not as good as they should be. They're good, but not great. They are like the baseline, and they are what get Alex Hormozi results like this. Here are the Hormomo strats, and this is what good looks like. This is the $100 million leads book. It's a fantastic book, but when I shifted my approach to non-intrusive emails, I saw a 400% improvement, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. The solution is what I call the non-intrusive framework. It's all about building a relationship first. So think about it like this. Imagine skipping all that and just saying, "Hey, let's just get married." Now that's intrusive. It's also weird, right? So the same logic applies to cold emails. Build rapport first and you're going to see much better results. Now, on the contrary, imagine if you ask someone out on a date, you take them to dinner, you talk to them, it's nice candlelit, and you get to know each other. Now that's the non-intrusive approach, just for use of an analogy there for you. So how does this framework work? It's actually quite simple. Start with a thoughtful question, something that builds rapport and shows you've done your homework. Make it relevant to what you are offering, so don't send something generic. Generic emails don't work. Make it personal and add variables in because that makes it look even more personable. And finally, just demonstrate genuine interest. People can tell when you are just faking it. So be real. Here's the thing. This isn't a crazy innovation. It's just taking an age-old concept and applying it to the internet. Door-to-door salesmen used this strategy for decades. They called it the foot-in-the-door approach. And it's still just as effective today. It's just using it with new tools, but keeping the same principles. So how can you implement this? Here are the actionables. Start your email with a thoughtful question to build rapport. A/B test everything. I'm talking subject lines, email, copy, tone, everything. And finally, you just want to track the key metrics. So open rates are going to be responsible for your subject lines. Reply rates are a good metric for engagement. And positive reply rates are going to be great for judging if they are actually qualified leads or if they are interested. And here's where we compare to Hormozi's strats. So this is Alex Hormozi's statistics versus our benchmarks. And for context, these are the same benchmarks that we use for our clients. If the statistics from a campaign doesn't meet our benchmarks, then we are simply not going to scale. So for example, Alex Hormozi on the left-hand side here, he might aim for a 6% reply rate, but for our campaign to scale, our minimum is going to have to be in the range of 12 to 25%. I start there because that's the title of the video, but his open rates are actually very comparable to our benchmarks. As I said, it's pretty good, it's pretty standard. And his positive reply rate, so although it doesn't exclusively say there, you can do the math by looking at how many opportunities he got versus how many he sent out. And in his campaign, he got 21 opportunities out of, I think it was 800 total sent. So not good. What we find out of our interest, we can get that up to 70% as a benchmark. We actually get higher usually. And when I implemented this strategy, here's what happened. I achieved a 400% higher reply rate than Alex Hormozi's benchmarks. And my campaign hit a 53% open rate, 24% reply rate, and 74.4% positive reply rate. And here's the proof. It's not just a theory, it actually works. Now, let me tell you how I got here. So when I first started, my results were god-awful. Dare I say, flat out embarrassing. I don't even know why I tell this story, but my mentor Santos, he looked at my emails. He took one look. I said, Santos, what am I doing wrong? And he said, bro, your copy sucks. And maybe I'm just exaggerating it a bit. He probably told me something more along the lines of, hey, like, simple, man. It's just, you're a little too intrusive. Try a more non-intrusive approach. He was completely right. I was being young, I was being dumb. I had a large ignorance debt that I had to pay off. And he helped out tremendously with that. And I thought I knew it all, and honestly, I knew nothing at that time. But once I shifted to the non-intrusive approach, everything changed, results skyrocketed, limiting beliefs gone, and the rest is history. So here's some advanced tips for you, some bonuses if you will. So here's the 80-20 principle that I live by. So 80% of your success from your email is going to be your copy. So you're going to have to focus a lot into refining and optimizing your message. Not to mention, if you ever do this for other people, you're going to want to make sure that it's genuine and it's not looking spammy, because you don't want to ruin anyone's reputation. And if you're doing it for yourself, you definitely don't want to ruin your reputation. So make sure you are super courteous of this. This is a very crucial point to look at. Now the 20% end is the back end work. So you got to avoid the spam folders. You got to optimize your domains. You got to warm them up. Make sure they sound cool. You got to schedule everything out. You have to warm up email accounts. I don't know if I already said that, but you guys get the point. And the copy is really just what drives the results. Everything else is just supporting it. Think about the 20% as the foundation, and the 80% is that skyscraper that's sitting on top. So just to recap, number one, intrusive emails get results, but non-intrusive email builds relationships and win long term. Number two, start with rapport and ask qualified questions to engage your leads. And number three, test subject lines, email copy, and back-end settings to make sure you are optimizing for performance. There's a big difference between good and great. So if you got any value from this video, just drop a like. It just shows me that you like this style of content and I should keep going. And let me know below, was this helpful to you? As always, I'm rooting for you and I will see you at the top. Peace.